Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays and welcome to update 7.7. This new update, which may come around the end of February, it brings a new line, a new tech tree line, which we're going to take a look at very soon. But we're just going to have a look at a few other things. The Tier 9 Vickers, I think the gun mantlet, it says the turret has been nerfed, but I can't see a difference between this one and the Vickers that we currently have, but I think it's actually the gun mantlet that has been nerfed. On top of that, we have the Tvpt 25 TAP. Just like the Tier 10 Batchat, it got a buff from 3 seconds to 2.8. This has also gone to 2.8. Also another buff, which I think is actually a really good buff, is the KV1S. Now the KV1S has a slightly bit of, I think, a nerf on the penetration, but the reload time fully equipped has gone down to 15.32 seconds. That is roughly an extra 300 DPM, and it's about 3 seconds off its reload, which is very good. Now, that out of the way, I think there's a few other minor buffs and minor nerfs, etc., like buffs on the E100 and the mouse there, where you can actually shoot inside the gun and do damage. So a few minor changes there. But we're going to have a look at the new line. We're going to have a look at the new line. We're going to start with the Skoda T25. Looks like the Tier 5 version, or the T25 Premium. I have to say, almost the whole line is ugly as hell. Look at the turret on this thing. So I have fully equipped everything, and all my equipment and that I run pretty much the same on all of them. So we're going to have a look at the stats, and we're just going to have a look at quickly in battle. So armor wise, the whole line pretty much hasn't got any armor. The turret on this is 50mm and your hull is 50. That's the best you're gonna get. So you're gonna be you could be getting HE'd quite a lot. DPM 1702. Magazine reload is it is an auto loader. The Tier 6 version, it is 13.92 seconds. Shell reload is 1.5 seconds between each shell, and you have 3 shells in your magazine. Penetration 132 on your AP, 185 on your APCR, and 38 on your HE, and you're doing 160 damage per shot, 135 on your APCR and 175 on your HE. 3.7 aim time, 0.337 on your dispersion, and it does have a 10 degrees of gun depression. So this is actually not a bad tank. It's not a bad tank. Of course, you've got no armor, so you do have to be very careful of those KV2s, the smashers, SU-152s, etc, etc, etc. So we are with Fizzy. Fizzy's helping me out in the open test, and you can see there pretty much no armor, shades of red here and there, but I mean 159, you can penetrate it all day long, anywhere on the turret, on the side, on the hull. Literally you can penetrate the thing anywhere. So we're just going to try HE. You can't really HE from the front, you go to the side, very difficult to HE from the side. So but the rear, you can HE the rear quite easily. So yeah, it's I think this is just going to be an average tank, if I'm honest. It's not going to be anything special. It's just going to be one of those tanks you grind just to get to the next tank. So the next tank is the T34 100. Basically looks like a Rudy T43. Not a great tank. I run all the same equipment, layout, everything like that. Fully upgraded. It has 1219 hit points. Again, no armor, 90mm on your turret is the most you're going to get, and 45 on your hull. So not great for armor. DPM 2145. Please note that this isn't an autoloader. This is just a single shell gun with a 7.83 second reload. 175mm of pen and 250 on your heat, 50 on your HE. So you've got plenty of pen there. Your penetration is not bad at all. Damage, it does 280 per on your AP, 240 on your heat, and 350 on your HE. Aim time 3.8, dispersion 0.38, and it does have 7 degrees of gun depression, and it goes 50 kilometers per hour. Now this tank, again, just like the tier 6, nothing special at all on the tank. I prefer the Rudy. I mean, it looks like a Rudy, pretty much plays like a Rudy, has the armor of the Rudy. However, the Rudy, the T3485 Rudy, the reload is pretty much half of this. So you can see it does have shades of red on the turret. Can easily penetrate the hatch there. 280 damage roll, which isn't bad at all. So we're going to just have a look at the armor profile a bit more. We're going to switch to the HE. You can see we can't HE anywhere at the bottom, but you can HE there. You can HE there, so you've got to be very careful. And you can see just under the ring of the turret, easily HEable, easily. And you're doing 350 per shot. So that's shooting it from another T34-100. You get a KV2 or a Smasher or anything like that, then you're just going to get absolutely deleted. If you give them the option to shoot your turret ring, then you're just gonna die very, very quickly. So of course, easily HEable there. Not so much between at the side of your tracks, but you can just shoot between the tracks and the hull, and you can penetrate with HE as well. So again, it's okay. We're going to have another look at these when they are released individually, just to see if they actually play like they do, if they play any better. I mean, they might play better. So the first two tanks are kind of, you know, meh. Okay, they're nothing special. We move on to the Tvp Vtu. Now, again, this is just a single shotgun with a tier 9 gun. 1,537 hit points. Again, not really no armor. 95 on your turret, 90 on your hull. Your DPM 2008, so not great, but it's nothing special at all. Reload time 9.26 seconds. Penetration 225 on your APCR 285, and on your HE 60. So again, plenty of pen there. You might have to switch to the APCR against the heavies, but you should be able to go through them nice and easy. And this has a 310 alpha, 260 on your APCR and 420 on your HE. Aim time is a bit up at 4 seconds, but your dispersion is down at 0.308, so not bad dispersion there, but the aim time is pretty is getting on the worst side. But 6 degrees of gun depression as well. So let's just have a look at this. Now there is, I believe there is a bug on this tank, which we're going to have a look at. So with this tank, I think again it looks pretty ugly. If I'm honest, it looks quite big. Can't really compare it with there's not really that much tanks you can compare it with, but you can see there's no turret ring on this one at least, but there is a bug with this tank, which we're going to show soon. So HEable easily from the side, easily HEable from the side. So if you can HE yourself from the side, anyone's basically gonna HE you, and you're doing sort of 370 there and on your HE. So if you see a Tvp Vtu, just switch to the HE, try and get to the side, and look at that, you're just completely tearing him apart. I mean, it's easier to penetrate the side than it is the rear with HE on this thing. So yeah, just be careful of that. Again, you've got to be careful of all the big tanks that you're going to come up against, all the tier 9s, the Waffles, the RHMs, the ISUs, the Smashers. You're going to come up against a load of dirt guns, so you do have to be very careful. Now the bug again is just like they fixed with the mouse: shoot inside the gun, and you're going to be able to penetrate. So yeah, hopefully that gets fixed. And I don't understand wargaming. They fixed the mouse in the E100 where you can shoot inside the gun, but then it happens with this. Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. So moving on, Skoda T50. Now, in all fairness, I probably think this is the better of the tanks in the line. It has 155 millimeters of turret armor, so the turret starts to get a bit stronger moving up to the tier 9. 65 on your hull, so you've got nothing on your hull or the sides or rear, but you do have a kind of nice turret that you might be able to get some bounces with. So your DPM is 2,663, not bad DPM, but not the best in tier 9 medium wise. It also is the magazine reload. It is an auto loader. It's not an auto reloader, it's an auto loader. 3 shells, 15.96 second on your magazine, which isn't so bad. Shell reload in between each shell is 2.5. again, that's pretty good. And you have 3 shells. Penetration again is more than enough at 242 on your APCR, 290 on your heat, and 50 on your HE. And again, you're doing 310 alpha, 260 on your heat, and 420 on your HE. Aim time is better at 3.2, and dispersion is pretty good at 0.310. And it does have 8 degrees of gun depression, and this one goes 60 kilometers an hour. So with the 8 degrees of gun depression, and your 155 millimeters of turret armor, it shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't be too bad at all. So this one is very troll. It reminds me of a Sheridan, and the reason of that, because the sides are, you've got spaced armor. You've got spaced armor, which really reminds me of the Sheridan, because it's very, very troll. You can see, again, there's no weak points really at the front with HE. There's no turret ring. Everywhere else is pretty much non-HEable at the front. We're just going to try and shoot the gun. Yep, it doesn't work on the Tier 9 version, but you can see with the APCR, everything is nice and grey. The turret, again, if you start wiggling the turret's not the best, even though it's 155 millimeters. Now, we're going to come to the side, and it's going to look easily HEable, look easily. But we are going to shoot, but we're only going to do 127 damage. So you're still doing more damage than sort of I thought you would be doing with this kind of gun. You'd be doing sort of 100, maybe 50 to 100, but you are doing sort of the higher end of the splash. So yeah, the sides are very, very annoying with the spaced armor, and because people are going to think that you can penetrate it, they are going to start shooting the HE. Of course, you can shoot in between the tracks, not there, and you should be doing, there we go, 460 damage. So you can be HE'd, so you do need to just be careful on that one. So very troll. The reload I don't think is bad. For an auto loader, I think the DPM is actually all right. And we're just actually going to show, we're going to go back and just show how, where are we? I'll keep going to that. Let's take it. We're going to come up against a Death Star now, just to see if it really does have that spaced armor. So a Death Star should be able to wipe the floor with me from the side with a penetration, but it's only doing 600 damage. Now I'm asking Fizzy, I haven't looked at any armor profile. You guys might already know this by looking on maybe Blitzhanger, it's not there yet, just to look at the armor profile. But I said to Fizzy, just shoot my rear, the top of my rear, to see if it is spaced armor all the way around. And of course, no, it's not. So you can HE the rear of the tank, but not the sides. So do pay attention to that, and just remember that even though it looks like you could be HE'd, it's you can't, from the sides at least anyway. Then we get to the big dog, the Tvp T5051. It's a nice tank. It is a nice tank. I've been testing it. It is a pretty solid tank. 1908 hit points, 145 millimeters on your turret, so not quite as good as the Tier 9 one. The DPM is quite low actually for a medium tank, but it is an auto loader, and this one has 4 shells, so 21.72 seconds on your magazine, and it's got a nice 2-second intraclip. So in sort of 6 seconds, you're getting your whole sort of magazine out, so you're doing quite a lot of damage per magazine. So penetration 242 on your APCR, so pretty much the same as your Tier 9. So the Tier 9 I think is better. You've got the same penetration, you don't have that full shell, but you are up against Tier 8, and of course you have that spaced armor, which you don't have on this TVP. So average damage 310 on your APCR, and 260 on your heat, and 420 on your HE. Again, pretty much the same as the Tier 9. Aim time 3.2, dispersion 0.310, 8 degrees of gun depression, and again you're going 60 kilometers per hour. So I definitely prefer the Tier 9 over this, but I mean, people are going to want the Tier 10. People are going to, obviously they're going to want the Tier 10. You are getting an okay tank. I mean, the 4 shells makes all the difference. If it had 3 shells, then yeah, of course, it won't be as great, and the Tier 9 will just be you wouldn't want to get the tier 10 after playing the tier 9. So you can see hold down, there is weak points either side of the either side of the gun, very easily pennable. If you're sitting there wiggling, if you are hold down and you're sitting there wiggling, of course it's going to be it could be difficult to pen. Don't give them an easy pen. Try and make it hard for them. Come back, wiggle, and just keep going backwards and forwards. You can see if you're sat in that kind of position, you are showing that turret, because it's quite a big turret and there's quite a big weak point if you're just standing still. So the whole new line, it's probably, to be honest, it's probably the worst line to come in the in Blitz for a while, actually. I'm not saying they're bad tanks, but there's just nothing special. In the European line, this is probably the worst line. This is probably the worst tech tree. So yeah, the whole line is nothing special. The whole line, of course, I'm going to grind them. I need to. They're the only things I don't have now. You can side scrape, believe it or not, on the thing, but that again, it's you still. Even if you side scrape, you're still showing that turret of yours. So it's it's nothing special at all. But it is a new line. People want new line. Can you HE it? Of course you can HE it quite easy again. So do be careful when you are when you're in the tier 10, because you're going to come up against a lot of big tanks. So yeah, basically good guns, no armor, good speed, nice gun depressions, and that's basically it. But out of the whole line, obviously the tier 6 is meh, tier 7 is meh, tier 8 meh, tier 9 pretty good, and tier 10 again pretty good. But out of everything, I definitely probably prefer the Skoda T50. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. This is coming in the next update, but seeing this is open test, everything is subject to change. Anything could change from now until this update is actually released. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With